Hi, this is Anil and welcome to the video tutorial for the Learning Lad on C++ programming. So in the last tutorial we have learned how to overload the unary increment and decrement operators when they are used in the prefix form. So in this tutorial we're gonna learn how to overload them when they are used as postfix. So here, just for the demonstration purpose, I have a class called marks and we have a private member called mark. And then we have a constructor, which is a default constructor, which is not going to take any parameters and it's going to initialize our member to a value of 0. And then we have a user defined constructor, which is going to take some value and it's going to initialize the member with that value. And then also have a method, which is going to print out the value stored in that member mark. And here we're going to overload the unary increment and unary decrement operator when they are used in the postfix form. So here we're gonna make the operator function for the increment operator as the class member function, and we're gonna overload the decrement operator by using a friend function. So first we need to specify the return type, and it's gonna be marks, the class name, or this operator is gonna return an object of this class marks, and then the keyword operator, and then the operator symbol, which is ++. And now since this ++ is going to work on the postfix form, we need to specify int here. So when we specify a parameter as int here, it tells to the C++ that we are overloading this unary ++ operator, which is going to work when we use it in the postfix form. And also this unary operator is gonna operate on only one operand, and that operand will be passed automatically by the C++ or passed implicitly because this operator function is a class member. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a duplicate object of the object that will be passed to us. So marks, and let's say it's gonna be duplicate, and we're gonna pass the current object to that, and at that time the copy constructor will be called, and it's going to create a new object and it's going to store the value of this object passed in this newly created object. So here in the next line what we're going to do is we're going to increment the value of the current object. That's why it's going to be mark equal to mark +1 or mark plus equal to 1, and then we're gonna return our duplicate object. So our duplicate object is gonna contain the past object which is unchained. So it's gonna be duplicate, and let's add a semicolon. So here don't get confused. So what we are doing is we are just creating a duplicate object of whatever the object which is passed implicitly, and then we are changing the value of the object passed and returning the duplicate object. So when we use x++, for this statement, this x is going to have the same value. When it comes to the next line, the value should be incremented. So here when we create an object of this class marks and we overload that using this postfix form, at that time this duplicate is going to contain the value of the original object, and when we come to the next line, this value will be updated. So if it is confusing, don't worry, when we run this program it's going to be clear. Alright, now we're gonna create, or we're gonna declare a friend function which is used to overload the unary decrement operator. So it's gonna be friend because it's a friend function, and then we need to specify the return type, and then the keyword operator, and then the operator symbol, which is -, and then we're gonna take 2 parameters. That's because since this is a friend function, there will not be any this pointer, and C++ is not gonna implicitly pass the current object, and we need to receive that. So here it's gonna be marks, and also we're gonna receive that object using the reference. That's why I'm gonna write ampersand there, and then we need to specify int here. If we don't specify this int, then C++ will think that okay, this is for the prefix form, not for the postfix form. So when we use int and specify that in the declaration, it tells to the C++ that okay, we are talking about the postfix form. Alright, now I'm gonna copy this, and we're gonna build the operator function body outside the class definition, and here within this curly braces we're gonna write the same thing. So I'm gonna copy these statements from the operator plus plus, and I'm gonna paste it here. And also we need to create an object, let's say yum, and here we're gonna pass yum to create the duplicate, because this yum is gonna contain an object passed to it, and then we need to decrement the marks by 1, and we're gonna return the duplicate. And also we need to refer this mark using yum.mark. Alright, the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna create the object from this class marks. So in my main function I'm gonna write marks, and let's say Anil, and let's pass a value of 68, my favorite number. And then we're gonna call the yourMarkPlease method. So it's gonna be Anil dot yourMarkPlease, and then we're gonna use this increment and decrement operators in the postfix form. So it's gonna be Anil and plus plus. Since these operators are returning an object of type marks, we can refer to the method directly here, and that's why I'm going to use this parenthesis to group it. And then I'm going to call yourMarkPlease, and again I'm going to call this Anil.yourMarkPlease. So I'm going to copy that and paste it here. So now I'm going to save this and I'm going to run it for this increment operation. So build and run. Hopefully we don't have any error. Alright, so we don't have any error, and now you guys can see. So your mark is 68. That is the value we have initialized, and also that is from this yourMarkPlease this method. And then we have used the postfix form of the increment operator. At that time what happens, whatever the value of this Anil will be used in the statement, and then the value will be incremented. And that's why this yourMarkPlease method is going to print 68 in the second line. And when we go to the next line or the next statement, the incrementation or the change will reflect, and we get 69. So here, because of this duplicate object, the original value which is 68, which is not altered, is returned, and the actual value of that variable is incremented here. Because of this duplicate return here, we'll get the 68 in the second line. And okay, I close that, build and run it again. Okay, now in the third line we got 69. That's because since the value is incremented there, we get 69 in the third line. So similarly, if I close this and use the decrement operator here, and I'm gonna build and run this, now you guys can see 68 and 68 in the second line also. That's because this is the postfix form of the decrement operator, and in the third line the value becomes 67. So this is it, guys. This is how you guys can overload the unary increment and decrement operator when it used as the postfix form. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and like my Facebook page, and stay updated with the latest videos that we're gonna make, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.